Hello everyone, welcome to our Bhagavad Gita class, episode number 41. So today we'll be discussing number 4.2 to 4.34. So basically today I thought I'll just put on the camera also so that you'll understand. I just wanted to say hello to you all and say like what Bhagavad Gita I'm referring to. So basically I'm referring Bhagavad Gita from the Gita press. So they have various versions, all written by uh, it's called Jayadal Goyandaka. I am unable to spell. So this is the best version which I have come across. Okay, so this is a very good book, and they have released an app also. So the app you can download and read the entire Bhagavad Gita book. What is available? This is about 700 pages in detail. Okay, this is the best Bhagavad Gita which I have come across. There are 800 pages in this. It costs just 100 rupees. If you come across any Gita Gorak Press stall when you move in a railway station or any spiritual place, they are available everywhere. You can also buy online. It is also present as an app mode, which I will try to give the link. You can download and read the whole book. So they are doing very good work, and the Gita which they have given is very authentic and very practical and simple to understand. It only requires our effort to understand the book. That's it. So I'm not going to say that I'm entirely deriving the classes out of it. It's very difficult. It's very deep. I'm trying to just give some simple points which we can understand. Also, which I have learned previously from my different schools of thought. So basically, this book has given light on both Bhakti Yoga, on Jnana Yoga, and on different kinds of Sankhya Yoga. So basically, I believe in Bhakti Yoga. Also, I'm liberal to other forms of yoga, Sankhya Yoga, or merging into the Brahman. All those things are there. Whatever the practitioner feels or appeals, he can take up that. So that's the whole idea. So coming back to our class, today we'll be starting episode number 41. So text number 4.32 to 4.34 will be covered. I have named it as knowledge because it's going to speak about some knowledge, the importance of knowledge. Now before going to that, we'll just brush up what we had learned in previous classes. So as I told you, I'm referring different kinds of books. All are from Gita Press itself. So they all cost very cheap, 10 rupees, 12 rupees, 100 rupees. Any other Bhagavad Gita you buy, they go into thousands of rupees. But the knowledge is not so worth of it. I prefer going through Gita Press books, right? So I'll just tell you what we had discussed in the previous classes. So the previous classes, the different kinds of sacrifices were explained. So the different kinds of sacrifices, it starts from shloka number 25 also you can go. Basically, I think it was from 24. Okay, so shloka number 24. I'll just read out the translations, but I'll just read the one word. So Brahmarpanam Brahma Havir Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantvayam Brahma Karma Samadhinam. So what was explained in that? In the practice of seeing Brahman everywhere as a form of sacrifice, Brahma is the ladle, which is oblation is poured into the fire. Brahma again is the oblation, Brahma is the fire, Brahma itself is the sacrificer, and so Brahma itself constitutes the act of pouring the oblation into the fire, and finally Brahma is the goal to be reached by him who is absorbed in Brahma as the act of sacrifice. Basically, this sacrifice is speaking about that whatever you see in the whole world is Brahman. The doer, the oil which is poured into the sacrifice, or the fire, the yagna kunda, and the performer, the person who is going to get the fruit, everything is Brahman. Brahman is doing the activity through the Brahman to the Brahman, and the beneficiary is also Brahman. So that's the concept of the Brahman concept. Next kind of sacrifice, Daivam evapare yagnam yoginha paryupasate brahmagnavapare yagnam yagnena vopujahati. Other yogis duly offer only in the form of worship of gods, while others perform sacrifice by offering the self in the fire of Brahman. This is basically speaking about the worship of deities. Then Shrotradinindriyani samyam agnishu juhati shabdadina vishayan Anya indriyagnisha juhvati. Of others offer as sacrifice the senses of hearing in the fire of self-discipline. Other yogis again offer sound and other objects of perception in the fire of senses. Basically, this is talking about hearing. Just like we are talking and somebody is hearing, Bhagavad Gita is read, somebody is hearing. This lot of gnana happening. People conduct classes, Bhagavad Gita classes or Veda classes or pravachans, and people go there, sit and listen. So what is happening? They are dedicating some of their time, they're sacrificing their time, they're sacrificing their energy in going and hearing to them. So that is also a kind of sacrifice. The other kind of sacrifice spoken here is about how people listen to sound. Sound is nothing but japa meditation. As I told you, there are various mantras, tantric mantras, Vedic mantras, stotrams, 108 names of different gods. So the various kinds of japas are there. So one japa is nothing but repetition of a mantra. Like we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Or other people know we have like Om Namah Shivaya, and also we have like Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And people following Shaktya, like they chant the Shrim, Krim, Hrim. So particularly they are arranged in a form to get the sound vibration. Again in Navagraha mantras they have different kinds of chants. For Ganesha we have Om Gam Ganapati Namaha, Om Mahaganapati Namaha. So like Durga, Mahalakshmi. So these are all various kinds of mantras given. So one keeps repeating them. It has its effect on the nerves and on the body, and it changes our consciousness. And we are dedicating our time and energy, and that is also a kind of sacrifice. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is sacrifice doesn't mean that only sitting in front of and kunda, agni kunda, and pouring oblations. That is one basic kind of sacrifice. There is others kind of sacrifice explained in Vedas. Then again we had studied सर्वेन्द्रियाणि कर्माणि प्राणाकर्माणि चापरे आत्म संयम्यो योगनो जुह्वति ज्ञानाधिपते. Other sacrifices all function of the senses and the functions of vital airs into the fire of yoga in the shape of self-control kindled by wisdom. This is basically pranayama. Then again Krishna goes on to tell द्रव्यज्ञस तपो यज्ञस यज्ञ योग यज्ञस तथा परे स्वाध्याय यज्ञ यज्ञश्च यतः सम शीताव्रताः. Some perform sacrifices with material possessions, some offer sacrifice in the shape of austerities, others sacrifice through the practice of yoga, while some striving souls observing austere oaths perform sacrifice in the shape of wisdom through the study of sacred texts. Like we are doing, sacred texts is studying the Vedas. Some offer sacrifices by studying the Vedas, some by giving away their material possessions, like they do donations, they go to the temples or they go to the anatha ashramas, they spend their wealth in them, they give away the wealth, or they dig the wells for the welfare of the village or lakes, or perform other kind of build construction of the old age homes, taking care of people. See, these all are basically people are trying to give away their part of wealth, material possessions. That is also called a sacrifice, because which they have earned out of their own wealth, they are giving away a part of it. So it's kind of sacrifice. So that is also prescribed in Vedas. The other things like austerities, like people they walk around an hill, like we do for Govardhan. They go around like Ayodhya, they do the parikrama. And then some people I have seen in South India, they do that Urula Seva, they roll around the temple. This happens. And some people they fast on certain days, like Ekadashis or 14th day of every month, or Mondays or every Fridays. They give trouble to their own body. So this all things were explained in the previous shlokas. Why I am trying to explain this again is to get a summary of what is going to be taught in today's class. So that was explained. So then next Krishna explains apane jhuvati pranam prane apanam tatapare pranapanagati rudva pranayama parayanaha अपरे नित्याहाः नियताहारः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वे अपीते यज्ञो विदो यज्ञक्षपिता कल्मषः. Other yogis offer the act of exhalation into the inhalation. Even so far, so others the act of inhalation to the exhalation. There are still others give to the practice of pranayama, breath control, who having regulated the diet and control the process of exhalation and inhalation both, pour their vital airs into the vital airs themselves. All these have their sins consumed away by sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. So basically this is explaining about the pranayama, where air is taken into one of the nostril and left to the other nostril, and air again taken from one nostril to the other nostril. I explained in the previous class how this cycle of breathing in and out counts one cycle, and Brahma has already uh, predetermined the life cycle or the number of cycles of breath which a person is going to take in the his lifetime. So that is already been predestined by Brahma. If one is able to control this breathing air, he will be able to increase or decrease his lifespan. That's how yogis go to the Himalaya and control the breath and try to live long. So that was explained in the previous class, that can be referred. So what I'm trying to tell you is, so these are the various kinds of sacrifices explained. Now in this class, from text number 31 onwards, Krishna is going to conclude. So what is better, what is not better, which is good, which you have to follow, and how you have to follow. So that was a brief explanation for the class what we are going to do today. Okay, so let us start. So the text number 4.32 will be studied today. So what does this sloka say? Evam bahuvida yagya vithata brahmano mukhe karma janinditi tansarvanevam gyatva vimokshase. Okay, my reading of Sanskrit sloka is not so good. Please bear with it. So it's just an try which I am giving, but more important is the knowledge which is given by the translation. So one is able to chant shlokas very well, it is very good. Otherwise also one can practice to them. So the translation says like this: many such forms of sacrifice have been set forth in detail in the Vedas. Know them all as involving the action of mind, senses and body. Thus knowing the truth about them, you shall be free from bondage of action through their performance. Which means that after explaining all these sacrifices which I just read out, okay, the different sacrifices which Krishna explained, the temple worship, the austerities, the svadhyaya, reading of the text, or doing the obligation, etc., etc., etc. Krishna says that in this way there are many other sacrifices which have been explained in the Vedas, and all are authentic. But one has to know them all as involving the action of mind, senses and body, which means that all these sacrifices which have been explained by the Vedas only involves the activity of mind, senses and body. So when we do some activity like japa, our senses like tongue is involved. When we go to the temple worship and do worship to the deities, our senses like hands, legs, these things are involved. In a sense, the body is involved. When is going for parikrama, in the sense to do an circumambulation of a hill or a dham or something like that, 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers, 50 kilometers or 84 course, like in Mathura they do. So the body is involved, the body undergoes a lot of tribulations, austerities. So the body is involved, that's kind of sacrifices. And again, in all of them, the mind should be pure. When you're performing any sacrifice or austerities or worship or whatever, the mind should be focused. Mind should be focused on the purpose that I am doing this for my self purification. So this mind should be involved in that, not that you do this japa and your mind is somewhere else. So that has no meaning. That is how Krishna in various slokas says that mind should be involved. So man manava mad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskar. There also he says that mind should be involved. So mind also plays important role. So what Krishna is trying to tell is this, that in all the sacrifices and scriptures whatever has been explained to you in last 7 shlokas, and many more which I have not explained but are there in Vedas, all involve mind, senses and body. Okay, through these 3 parts of the human structure, one is going to offer sacrifices. So one has to know them in truth. What is the truth? That I am doing these sacrifices through the body. You shall be freed from bondage of action. Just by doing these activities, one is guaranteed to be freed from the bondage. Bondage, as I explained to you, the previous slokas, the material clutches, material tags which have been into the body, the attachments into the body. So these things will be slowly unknotted once a person starts performing these prescribed sacrifices with the knowledge of what it means and what it has to be done for. What is that knowledge will be explained in the next text. So this is what the text means. Now continuing, we'll read this. So this is a lengthy shloka. I will read that through English in my book. Okay. Shreyan dravya mayad yagnaj gnanignaha parantapa sarvam karma akilam parata gnane parisampatyate. Arjuna, sacrifice through knowledge is superior to sacrifice performed with material things. For all actions, without exception, culminate in knowledge, O son of Kunti. So what Krishna is telling is that all activities what you do with your body, mind and senses is on material, is on the material platform. Above this is something called as spiritual or knowledge, with knowledge. What is that knowledge? That everything belongs to God or everything belongs to the Creator. I am just an super soul, or sorry, I am just an soul who is going to do these activities to satisfy the super soul or the overall soul. And by doing this, I am going to cut away from these material knots. That is, if you refer to the second chapter, the text, where we were explaining how the soul transfers from one body to another, birth, death, old age, disease, all these things happens. It takes birth, then slowly grows, and after a certain age, old age, when it cannot progress with this present body, it leaves and takes a new body. So that's called death. Okay, in this way, the soul jumps from one body to another body depending upon its desires and activities. Okay, so in this way it goes on to millions of cycles of birth. So the knowledge is that I don't belong to this, I belong to something else, that I belong to the Supreme Soul, where I am supposed to serve him, work for him and be happy with him. But due to my Maya, I have got attached to unnecessary things, unnecessary material things, and I'm struggling out of this. And to get out of this, I have to perform these sacrifices in a detached manner without any attachment. Once I start doing this, slowly I get dissolved from these attachments. Slowly I start unknotting from these attachments, and finally when I am completely pure, completely away from these material attachments, I go back to my original place, which is according to the practitioner what he wishes. If he wishes to go back to Krishna, it is Goloka. If he wishes to go back to Rama, it is Sakit. If he wishes to go back to Shiva, it is Kailasha. If he wishes to go and merge into Brahman, it will be Brahman. Okay, so again, there are all details. We'll not go into the details. We will be studying only the basics. Okay, so the basic thing is that we are in Maya by performing these sacrifices with knowledge that what I am, who I am, and what is the goal of these sacrifices. By understanding this is called knowledge. By understanding this and performing these activities, I get detached from this material world, and finally I go back to the place from where I have come from. So this is called as culmination in knowledge. Okay, so what Krishna is asking Arjuna is, Arjuna, sacrifice through knowledge is superior to sacrifice performed with material things. Means, like whatever we had studied in the last 7 texts, it is all material. It is all pertaining to our mind, senses and body. Okay, whatever we have earned, we are giving away. That is nothing but material. Whatever we are studying, it's coming through the senses, and again senses are material. It will remain for some time and it will go off. When we become old, our senses starts deteriorating and will not be able to grasp these things, or will not be able to remember these things. Okay, even our thinking power will go down, our memory power will go down. Whatever we would have been studying now, whatever we were discussing now, maybe after 20-25 years, my memory will be so weak that I am unable to explain this further. So these things will happen. So this is all pertaining to the material things. But the knowledge that this is coming from God himself, and I have to speak the truth, and I have to spread this knowledge, and we have to get detached from this material, this all comes under knowledge. So this will be remaining permanent. So Krishna says that this knowledge, when you concentrate or when you do a sacrifice with knowledge, that is the highest thing. So that is what you are supposed to do. So that is how this shloka is ending. Now finally culminating, how to get this knowledge, a very important shloka will be spoken. We will see what is that. Now text number 4.43. This is very important shloka. to understand, how to get knowledge, right? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshayanti te gnanam gnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So this is a very very important. Wherever you go, whichever school, either it is material knowledge or spiritual knowledge or any sports, whatever it may be, this shloka is applicable universally. What it is, let's see the translation. Understand the true nature of that knowledge by approaching illumined soul. If you prostrate at their feet, render them service and question them with an open and guileless heart, those wise seers of truth will instruct you in that knowledge. So now whatever we are discussing, we were talking about, so knowledge. Now a question will appear to us: where shall I get this knowledge from? Who will give me this knowledge? Now Krishna says that to this you have to find out a guru or a person who has already experienced in this knowledge. Just by going and approaching them is not enough, because if you want to get a knowledge from any person, say even for a material knowledge, say a student wants to learn cricket from his experienced coach, he goes there, can just go there and ask, can't demand, teach me. No, for that he has to impress. Okay, you give some money, basics he will teach, that's one thing. But beyond to get learned of these basics, that student has to surrender him and serve him. It's not the only matter of money, it's all the matter of respect what you show to him, the matter of service what you give to him, the love what you show to him. These things will impress on that person, and that coach 100% will teach more than what he teaches the other students. Same way is applicable to our school teachings also. Like teacher, there are 40 students in a class. The teacher is not attached to all the 40 students. The teacher comes on the board and then gives a lecture for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, maybe whatever, 1 hour also, and he finishes his work and goes away. But he will be attracted to 1 or 2 students in the class, and he tries to give them special class or special attention to them even after the classes. Why? Because these students, they are also paying the same fees, but the students are showing special respect and special interest to him, because of which the teacher gets impressed, or he increases his affection, and thus he renders more knowledge to them. For example, you can take Kauravas and Pandavas. They all went to the same teacher called Dronacharya. Even though Dronacharya explained the same structure and he gave the same knowledge of this Dhanush Shastra or whatever, the weapons knowledge to everyone, but still Arjuna was most affectionate to him, and hence he used to spend more time with Arjuna, and Arjuna learned more things from him. So this is one way, one good example what we can say is, if we have to learn something or anything from anybody, we have to be more humble. So here the word is, if you prostrate. So I'll just see this. It says, I'm not getting this, 1 minute. Okay, it's not coming, no issue. So the word says, if you prostrate at their feet, render them service and question them with an open and guileless heart. This is what it means. We prostrate at their feet, of course, and genuine teacher will not ask for these things, but it's not literally also. Still a person can be humble towards his teacher, towards his professor. When he is humble and he goes and approaches with an guileless heart, without any attitude, without any ego, the professor will be very very happy to give more knowledge to him. So this we have understood in the material world also. When we are going to our schools or colleges, etc., we would have experienced this. Now same way Krishna is telling that if you want to learn this in the spiritual forum, here too you have to approach a guru, a person who knows better, and be humble towards him. To a spiritual, we have to approach to a spiritual person who has gone through all these Vedas, and he himself has followed all these austerities and sacrifices. When we approach such a person in an humble way, and ask questions, render service to him. It may be anything. The service may be monetary also, because when some sadhus are running ashrams, they need money to run ashrams. Maybe by donating they become happy. This is just 10%, but the 90% of the people will be happy only when we go and render them physical services and look after their basic needs. As an example. So when we do such things, the person becomes really happy, and if he sees that we are really genuinely interested in understanding this knowledge, such people are going to open up their experiences. Their experience is nothing but knowledge. Knowledge is experience, or experience is knowledge. There's no amount for that. So when this happens, that person is going to reveal more things to us, and when these things are revealed to us, we can learn more purely, more clearly, and these concepts of Vedas becomes more clearer to us and easy to understand. So that's what Krishna means, that Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashna means asking questions. So asking questions should not be in a mode to check someone's knowledge. We experience this, like people when we say that when we speak something about Bhagavad Gita, something all these things, they start asking questions to us just to check a knowledge. For example, in astrology also, when we do astrology, we have some knowledge about astrology and we do that. Many people come to us not to ask genuine questions, genuine problems, to solve the genuine problems, but they come to us just to check whether we know or not, whether we are right or wrong. So that kind of pariprashnena is not advised. Of course, if you're going to someone, you have to make a homework before going to him, not go in front of him and then start doing the research. No. If you're going to someone, you just ask people who have already been to them and ask their experiences whether it's genuine or not. Once you decide is genuine, you go to him. If you know if he's not genuine, then don't go to him. But if you decide, okay, this person is true, I'll go to him and I'll ask, then surrender fully and ask questions humbly, not in a mode of challenging, or not in a mode of egoistic, or not in a mode of testing others person's knowledge, because knowledge is a ocean. Somebody may know a drop, somebody may know a tumbler, somebody may know a bucket, but ocean is so huge that the biggest of the vessel what we carry cannot get the water from it, right? Same way knowledge is the ocean. Whatever we know is very very little, and whatever the other person knows also is little, but whatever he knows which we don't, we have to respect and take that knowledge. So that's what Krishna explains here. This shloka can be applied both materially, also can be applied spiritually. So whichever way you want, you can apply and see that whatever knowledge you have is good, and to get more knowledge, you approach an experienced person and try to get more from him and improve our lives both spiritually and materially. Hence today's class will be ending. So the entire knowledge, as I told you, coming from the book Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Tattva, vichettanni. I don't know whether you will be able to read. This comes as ulta. Okay. Still, you can read them. It is available in Google also. When you go to the Google and type Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Tattva, vichettanni, you will get the app. You can download and read. Hence, I'll be ending this class today. Thank you very much.